Hi, I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House, where we'll go anywhere to answer your home improvement questions. Today,
I'm going to show you how to give your old door some real character by replacing your basic doorknob with some antique hardware. All right, Kevin, that's how you do a Dutchman.
absolutely seamless. And when that new old hardware goes on, this door is going to look great. This is an architectural salvage shop that we have been to before. We recently purchased a mantle for around a fireplace for a job. And we knew that they had a great selection of doorknobs. And not just any doorknobs. These are actually antiques. They're matching pairs, and they've been reconditioned so that you can buy them in working order. Work that has been done by Bill Raymer. Bill, look at that selection that you've got here, huh?
Kevin, we've got a great selection. How you doing?
I'm doing well. That's
Great.
terrific. You've also got a little bit of a history lesson for us too, right?
I can tell you a little bit about doorknobs. We could start at the beginning if you'd like to know.
Yeah, what is the beginning?
Well, the beginning, the early handles of doors would be this thumb latch, which is on a very thin door, and it's a very simple mechanism, and it just opens the door like so.
Doesn't get much simpler than that, does it?
Very simple. Didn't really have any locking mechanism
What's
either.
the date of something like this?
This would be, late 1700s up to 1800 or so.
Okay.
Okay. Then what they did is they refined the process a little bit. They came up with what's called a rim lock. This is a surface mount lock that would mount to the face of the door, and then this catch, a keeper, would mount to the jamb, and they drill a small hole in here and put a doorknob through here, and that's what open and close the door.
But you would see the hardware because,
would
as you
see
said, it was on the face of the door.
Yeah, surface mounted. You would see
Right.
that. So then what they did is they refined that a little bit. They went to what's called a mortise lock, which they mortised into the side of the door, like so.
Similar mechanism, now it's just hidden inside the door.
It's just a hidden mechanism. Again, your doorknob and your spindle go right through here.
Right.
And then they progressed into what's called a tubular latch. And the reason they did this was it's just much simpler to install. It performs the same function as the mortise set, but it's much easier to install. It's just easier and simpler.
No mortise along the side, a single circular hole in the face of the door, and it works the mechanism as well as the handle.
Right. This still has to be mortised into the door, but you don't have to drill such a large
Right.
hole in the
Okay.
door.
Well, this is the one here that interests me, the mortise lock. We've got to find an appropriate doorknob for something like this, a mortise lock.
Okay, well, I can tell you kind of, where we're going.
Please.
So there's different types of doorknobs. In the early to middle 1800s, they had porcelain knobs. They were generally made of in three different colors, white, black, and brown. The brown is sometimes known as Bennington because it was created by a company called Bennington.
Beautiful swirls in that one right
Yeah,
there.
that's really refined the process. Then there was some wooden knobs that were early, middle 1800s, and they were very crude in some cases. And in some cases, they again began to refine them and add more detail.
But these are both from the same period. And then moving on from there, what did we go to?
Well, middle 1800s up to the turn of the century, we had brass and bronze knobs.
Beautiful.
Okay, there were two different types of manufactured knobs. They were usually very ornate, and there were two styles. One was a stamped brass, which was thin and actually stamped out on machinery.
So this is stamped here?
This is stamped. Yep, this is the thinner one, and this is the cast brass, which is heavier and very decorative, as you can see.
They are beautiful, and that one's actually quite beefy.
Yeah, this would cost more money, where this would be more like the builder's hardware of the day.
Okay.
Then from there, progressed a little further, getting a little fancier, into glass and crystal knobs.
Great, look at that. Cut, made by hand, I
Yep,
assume?
cast brass rosettes, and some had a wide shank base like this.
Yeah.
Many of the styles were octagon. That was, the style of the period. And then they had what's called a mercury knob, which was a fancy, almost mirror image glass knob. It actually didn't contain any mercury, but it was called that. It was a process invented in Germany, and it made its way over here.
That's good to know that there's no real mercury in
That's
that.
good. We don't
All
want
right.
any of that. That's
And
for
then
sure.
it continues on with glass knobs. There's a big selection
Glass
you've got
knobs is
here.
all different types. After the, this would be 1910 up to 1920 or so. Then we come to the 30s. We're still using glass, and the back plates, which would be, from the 30s, either a back plate or some styles would have a rosette, which is the round backplate.
Well, this piques my interest because I'm looking for something around the 1930s, and I can tell from that wall behind you, I'm going to find a doorknob that I need.
Well, we've got a great selection, so we can, you can spend some time here and pick something out. There's
love
just
to.
a couple things you want to remember about doorknobs, okay? One is you have to get one that fits the thickness of your door.
And the thicknesses of doors could be all different thicknesses,
Yeah,
right?
the early ones were 1 inch, then the most common one is 1 3/8, and then they went to 1 3/4, depending on the size of the house, okay?
So what am I looking for?
Well, there's 3 types of spindles. One is a fixed pin spindle,
Yeah.
okay, which for your period really doesn't apply. And then the 3-hole on each end, which would give you this adjustment.
So these actually go up into one of those three positions
This can go into either one of these 3 holes, like so.
on either side.
On either side, so you can fine tune the adjustment for the thickness of the door.
Right.
And then the 1930s ones that you were interested in actually screwed on, and this refined the adjustment even more because you could just make it fit perfectly.
And then you just set it down. There's a little set screw there to tighten it up.
There's a set screw here, you tighten it up, and you're all set to go.
That's actually really good to know. All right.
Well, the last thing you need to know is that if you have this new bore style, okay, that's going to create a bit of a problem because you're going to have a 2 1/8 inch hole bored in the door.
Right.
Much of the antique hardware will not fit that, but when you're looking for a back plate, okay, so let's say you're looking for a back plate for the 1930s,
Yep.
you want to make sure it's big enough to cover that hole.
All right.
That's the key.
And if we don't, we've got ourselves some work to do.
Then you're going to have to do some work.
All right. Well, I'm going to dig into your collection here. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, go for it.
Tommy, I found some great antiques, any one of which is going to be a great improvement over this old brass knob here.
That's for sure.
I mean, look at these. These things are original, beautiful. We've got an Art Deco backplate right here. We've got a rectangular one right here. And we've even got some of these rosettes, original metal rosettes, brass. And look at the knobs.
Beautiful.
3 glass knobs,
Nice
1
glass
metal
knobs.
one.
Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful. All right, Kevin, and that's how you do a Dutchman.
Oh, that's great, Tommy. Absolutely seamless.
All right, so all we'll do is we'll patch the other side, prime it, paint it, and then we're ready for some new old hardware.
And when that new old hardware goes on, this door is going to look great. Nice job.
Thanks.